Bell, and this is TTRPG News, where we round up all of the weekly things, headlines. Frick. We've got
a subscriber.
Thank you so much for the follow. This is not a subscriber. Does a follow. Weston's now frantically trying to go find who followed us. All right, so our first news story of the day is going to be Image Comics has hesitated to recognize the writers' union that has been established.
So we know there's been a lot of union news lately with Paizo, then with the comic book writers, and we've covered quite a bit of that. And Image Comics is like, wait
a second. So I've got to say, you guys, this was probably one of the most clickbaity things I've ever seen in my life. The title of the article that wrote about this was Image Comics refuses to recognize writers' union. And that was not true.
Not true.
That was not true. The company didn't have a heck of a lot to say at the beginning when all of this went down like a week ago. But they did. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Weston can't see who's following us. Weston, go find out who's following us because I'm reading stuff.
Yes,
all right. The company, once they finally were making statements about this, did say that they always believed in the fair and equitable treatment of their staff and have always strived to support employees to the best of its ability. So to do this, what they have done is asked for the National Labor Relations Board to actually oversee a secret ballot election so that eligible members of the Image Comics staff can determine if they want to be actually represented by CWA, which is Communication Workers of America. So they are not refusing to acknowledge the writers' union. What they are trying to do is make sure that all the writers are all on board with this. So there's going to be more stuff coming out about these things as time presses forward. There's definitely a shift in the TTRPG world and in the artists that provide for this world for us.
Well, and a lot of people who write for TTRPGs also write comics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of overlap there in the artists and in the writers. And so they're all kind of being like, you know what? We want some representation.
Yeah.
And I understand, but at the same time, I completely understand what the company is doing because I've heard of industries where you almost get press ganged into a union because once the whole idea of a union is that there is strength in numbers. So everyone kind of has to join in order for it to actually have the real ability to negotiate. And so making sure that at least the grand majority of your workers are all on board with this move, I don't think is a bad thing. I don't think it's wrong to be safe in that.
Yeah.
And so I hope that it goes well and they're able to get everything organized.
I hope so too. I hope that this shift is... hello!
So I will say thank you to the last three. So we had Yeet Nation, HN2DM, and now Xanderman203 that have all followed. Thank you very much for following.
Well, thank you so much for the follow, you guys. That's like majorly appreciated. All right, Weston, on to our next.
Yes, so this upcoming weekend is actually Roll20 Con. So if you play in TTRPG space, you've probably used a virtual tabletop. You've probably used Roll20.
Oh, it's How Not to DM. Hi, How Not to DM.
Oh, yay.
Hi, Derek. What's up?
But
sorry, I just finally got access to the chat.
But they are actually having their convention this weekend. There are going to be a ton of actual plays from a lot of big names that are all going to be playing and some different reveals of different gaming systems and things that are all going to happen this weekend. So if you, I would advise going and checking that out because you're going to get a lot of news and a lot of fun stuff this weekend. Two things in particular that are going to happen there. One is you are going to have, I think, what will be one of the first actual plays of Strixhaven. This is, Hayley, you are going to want to play this module. This is actually comes from the Magic the Gathering universe, but it is Hogwarts. This is freaking Hogwarts for D&D. They have... They have your different houses. They have a bunch of NPCs that you can be friends with or not friends with, depending on what like things you do, what clubs you join, what things like that. If you were a drama nerd who in high school who wished you were the popular kid, you get to live out your fantasy.
I don't know what world you lived in, but the popular kids were the theater nerds in my high school.
Yeah, you had a weird high school. Sorry.
I didn't. It was the coolest high school ever.
So it has got a lot of cool stuff, including a new race of the Owlkin. So
the Owlkin?
Yes, they are owls, but humanoid owls.
But are they like the little ones that have the big, huge eyes in their heads?
Kind of, depending on how you want to do it. You know, with it being a wizard school and you're an owl, the amount of Hedwigs that will get played will be huge. So that's one of the big things. They're going to be giving more details, and there's going to be an actual play with a bunch of the players from Dimension 20 and Exandria Unlimited playing. Yeah, fangirl.
Can I talk about that now?
Sure you can.
Okay, so it's called Battle for the Beyond, or Battle for...
No, that's a separate one.
Beyond, it's
That's
the same
different.
thing. Same thing. Same thing.
Okay. If you say so.
You guys, we're super professional here.
Yes, we are.
No, okay, so what Weston's talking about is called Battle for Beyond. It is a sponsored D&DBeyond stream that is in conjunction with Roll20 Con. I read the article.
Okay.
It's on their website. Anyway, it is a completely star-laced show.
It is.
It is. Let me just read to you some of the people that are on this. We've got Jasmine Buller she's from Into the Motherlands. She's the DM. Abria Iyengar from Exandria Unlimited. Brennan Lee Mulligan from Dimension 20. Josephine McAdam. Emma Fife. Erica Ishii. You guys, these names are hard. All three of them are voice actors from some very popular video games. And Ife Nwadiwi.
Destroy the
Nwadiwi from Dimension 20. But it's coming out November 20th. It's a part of Roll20 Con, sponsored by D&DBeyond, but it is going to be a live stream with 6 sessions every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. So you can go and hang out there.
It starts at the con and then continues afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Which apparently Darren C tells us that the Owlkin race, you can be both small or medium-sized.
Oh, I want
You
to
be
be
a small,
small.
cute
I want to be
owl.
one of those adorable ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know you would be. Another thing, though, I didn't manage to get this on our list, but you'd be interested in this. One of the things the last day is they will be doing an actual play of the new Power Rangers TTRPG. They'll be presenting it. There'll be some playing going on.
How is it that you did not tell me about this until just now?
I found out about it about 20 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
So the last day of the con, on Sunday, there will be a Power Rangers TTRPG. So if you are like us and grew up in the 90s and you've ever wanted to say, it's morphin' time, this is your chance.
Oh my gosh. And in a non-ironic way, which is so exciting.
Yes.
All right, so the next big news is Star Wars. For all of our Star Wars lovers out there, you know a tabletop game for Star Wars came out to wild success in 2012. It had 3 different books with it that covered different types of encounters and like politics and all that jazz within the Star Wars universe or galaxy. Mm-hmm. But the big news that came out this last week, thank you so much, Don Solex.
Thank you for following.
Thank you for the follow. They have the official stamp by Disney, which means they are now going to be creating a ton more content for the Star Wars TTRPG and for the universe, as well as using the Disney distribution, which means all of the books are going to be released widely across like all continent countries.
They've got the thumbs up from Disney.
Yep. So they are now officially partnered with Disney, and it's like they're going to go hog wild. So keep a lookout for that if you're a big Star Wars fan. And then our last news.
Yeah, since tonight's like, tell me more. It's like, yeah, the game system's been out for a while, but now that it's officially recognized, it's gonna grow. And I hope they get some Disney throwing them some money, some of that
Disney money,
some of that Disney money to make this thing grow and be an awesome system.
No, it is. So it is the old one, but from what I understand from reading the articles about it, it is being kind of like remastered.
Yes. And
going to be re-released.
With Disney's stamp of approval, which means we're going to get... I mean, wouldn't it be so cool as Disney releases new stuff? They got the Book of Boba Fett coming out, that we can get like
world.
The abilities in these books matching up with the Disney Plus shows and the expanded universe stuff. Yeah. I think that'll be a lot of fun to play those.
It's going to be cool. I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a fun one. And then Weston.
Last thing, so as if you have watched our show, we play Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and Paizo has now released their hero point deck. So in Pathfinder, every game you get hero points, and you can give hero points for good things they do. It's kind of like how in D&D you'll give inspiration or advantage, and in this you get to use it on a roll. So you can turn it in and say, I want to re-roll that D20. And you can use that throughout. But this deck, instead of doing that, you get other stuff. It's like, okay, instead I want to use this hero card to give me this special ability, to give me, like we get in our streams, haste for a couple of rounds or something like that. So it just takes the game and makes it more interesting, gives you more unique ways to use those hero points.
Because the hero point aspect is really cool, and the fact that you can re-roll a d20 and it's written into the mechanics of the system. So it's not like you're at the mercy of your DM to be like, I liked that. Here, have inspiration or whatever. This way it's written into the mechanics, and having the hero cards I think is gonna be or hero point cards.
Yeah, hero point cards.
I think is gonna create a interesting, both chaotic and really fun element to the game.
Well, it's kind of like they've also had, I don't know if they done these in D&D, but they had in the past your crit cards. So if you critically failed or critically succeeded, you also pulled this card, which might have something different happen. You might not take double damage, but you might have your armor break. You might not take double damage, but you might have your ankle twisted, and now you take a negative 10 penalty on your speed for a minute or so. So there were different effects. This just does that again to keep the game interesting. Things will never get boring if you're using these cards.
Yeah. So I dropped the link in there in the stream. So if you guys want to check those out, you can go to the Paizo website and check those out. And I believe that is all for TTRPG News.
So one quick thing. This week we're not doing an indie roundup.
Oh, no. We're not doing an indie roundup.
But if you know of indie development that is happening and that you would love us to cover or talk about more, something maybe that you're part of the Kickstarter on, shoot us a message on Twitter of what you'd want us to cover. We want to get information out to the community about all this creation that's happening, about these Kickstarters, about these amazing products. But we can't do that if we don't know about them.
And the feature, I just had this thought. The feature is totally free.
Yes.
It's like we want to give back to the community that's been so amazing to us since we started this last year. And so if you know anybody, please shoot me a message on Party of 2 RPG Live on Twitter, or you can email us at partyof2rpg@gmail.com.
All right. And I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. Thank you. This has been today's TTRPG News.